Rote Grütze. How am I supposed to translate that? I think there's no translation. So Rote Grütze is something that comes from the north of Germany and from Denmark. And it's basically a dessert. It's made with berries, different kinds of berries mixed together, or just one kind of berry like strawberries. But you can also make it with cherries, or you can, like I'm doing it today, mix cherries and strawberries in it. And it is served with a vanilla sauce. It's very delicious. It's often also used as a lunch on a hot summer day, and it's very popular in Germany. It's a very common dessert. So the ingredients that you need for that are strawberries and cherries, and I weighed them. They're about 350 grams, a little above that, because I will have to cut some away and I have to remove the stones. I also have some cornstarch. I have 300 milliliter of juice. This is cherry juice. You can use any other, basically red juice. I also add some sugar, and if your juice is already sugary, then you should definitely use less of the sugar, but I'm having here 100 grams of sugar because this is an unsweetened juice. I also like to add some vanilla extract to my Rote Grütze. And for the dessert sauce that comes on top of the Rote Grütze, I will have to make some vanilla sauce, and for that I have 2 cups, no, not really, 1.5 cup of milk and some vanilla pudding for cooking. However, you can also make vanilla sauce without a package. You can just use some milk and some starch and some vanilla, and I think that's what I'm going to show you today. So I'll remove this just so you know, if you want to make vanilla sauce the easy way, use some cooking vanilla pudding and just either use just half the package with the entire amount of milk, or just use the double amount of milk for the whole package, depending on how much vanilla sauce you want. So I will start with preparing the strawberries and remove the stems. Okay, and now I will cut them into smaller pieces, not too small though. So people like it if the fruits are still, you know, they don't want them too mushy. They should still look like fruits. And you should always use fresh fruits, and I highly recommend using organic strawberries only. Strawberries are the most contaminated fruits. They have the most pesticides on them. In Germany we basically don't buy anything that's not organic and when it comes to strawberries anymore. So, and now I have to pit my cherries, and let me show you how I'm doing this. I brought this tool from Germany. I have this since, I would say, 25 years, and it's still working very well. So this is how I do it. I just press this together. It's a little bit messy, yes it is, but it works. So I put the cherries to the strawberries into my cooking pot. And I'll continue to do so, and I'll see you in a little bit. Yeah, so I'm done with the fruits. I filled them in a different bowl because I will need the cooking pot in a little bit. But first I want to mix my sugar with 30 grams of cornstarch, and that's about 2.5 tablespoons. And just give it a quick mix. And now I add a little bit of my juice to it. And let me get a different spoon. And I mix this with the cold juice. You because that's the only way you can dissolve the starch in the liquid. Okay, now set this aside. I will knead it in a little bit. Now I put the remaining juice into the cooking pot, and I will bring this to a boil on the stove. And because I also want to make a vanilla sauce, I will prepare that next. Now for the vanilla sauce, I'm basically doing the same thing that I just did for the Rote Grütze. I will use a little less though. I use like 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and 2 tablespoons of sugar, maybe a little more, and I add some of my milk. And I mix it. And this will be added to the milk once it's boiling. Alright, so the milk goes into a saucepan, which I choose probably a little bit too large, but that's okay. Now I could use a fresh vanilla bean and slice this in the middle and remove the bean stuff in the middle, the vanilla stuff, but I think I showed this to you before. This is vanilla bean paste, and I absolutely love it because it's so much easier to handle than a vanilla bean. And I just put this into the milk in my saucepan. And now we'll go to the stove and continue with my Rote Grütze and my vanilla sauce. Okay, so my juice has started to boil, and that means that I have to add the starch and sugar mix, and I give it one more little mix because it tends to set on the bottom. Now I just put it into the boiling juice and add everything. I give it a stir and I bring it back to a boil. And you can see it already thickens quite a bit, and I turn off the heat. That's what it's supposed to look like. Let it boil for like half a minute. Okay, and now I take it off the heat and I add my fruits, all of them, and I stir this. So all the fruits go into the hot liquid and they will kind of cook a little bit in it, but not too much, so they're still nice fruits, not mash or something. Okay, and I let this sit, and now I take care of my vanilla sauce. Yeah, when you boil milk you want to be very careful and stir it quite a bit so it doesn't burn on the bottom. And this should soon be boiling. It's quite hot. So I'm basically doing the same thing that I did with the Rote Grütze. I'll do with the milk. just to thicken it and turn it into a sauce. Okay, it's starting to boil, and I will take it off the heat and I add this mixture. I bring it back to the stove and let it thicken a little bit. Okay. And this is my vanilla sauce. And it's not as yellow as you often see it on pictures or if you make it from a package, but this is what vanilla sauce really looks like. You could add an egg yolk to give it a little more of a yellow color, but I don't think that's necessary. This is just a plain, good, delicious vanilla sauce made from scratch without any food coloring in it. Okay, so I let both of these cool now, and once it's cooled it goes into the fridge. It's usually eaten very cold. It's especially eaten on hot summer days, so having it cold is basically the point of it. And yeah, I think this is a very delicious and simple recipe for dessert, for lunch, especially for your kids during summer. They will definitely love it. And I'll show you how I serve it. And I hope you enjoyed this recipe. It's something you probably haven't had here in America and you're probably not familiar with it. But I really urge you to try this recipe, and I am pretty sure you will fall in love with it. So thank you for watching.